During a winter break field trip, trapped by a mudslide, a poor student insisted that rice contaminated with pesticide was still edible. It just got a little on it by accident in the bag. Just wash it a few more times, and it'll be fine. That's how we do it back home. In my past life, I ignored everyone's objections and threw the rice away, setting up traps to catch birds and insects, forcing the whole class to endure until rescue arrived. But while waiting for the rescue team, the poor student fainted from hunger. After waking up, she burst into tears, saying that I looked down on her and that's why I threw away the rice, causing everyone to go hungry for no reason. Without another word, she ran outside, only to be caught in the aftermath of a mudslide, with half her body buried. By the time we dug her out with our bare hands, one of her legs had already lost all sensation. In her despair, she blamed everything on me, saying I had ruined her life. 3 roommates who secretly admired the impoverished student teamed up to throw me into a mud pit to teach me a lesson. When the rescue team arrived, everyone was saved, but I was deliberately forgotten by them, buried alive in the mudslide. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day our entire class was trapped. Oh no, this is terrible, having experienced the life and death moment of a mudslide. Everyone was physically and mentally exhausted, lying on a flat piece of ground. Still in shock, they didn't even have the strength to speak, but at this moment, Jing Xiling, the campus belle from a poor family, let out a scream. Everyone jumped up as if by reflex. My 3 roommates almost simultaneously ran towards Jing Xiling. I saw Jing Xiling panicking as she pulled out a bag of contaminated rice. She vigorously wiped off the stains on it. They asked what that was. Jing Xiling frowned and said the insecticide in her bag had broken and spilled on it. But then she added that it wasn't a big problem, just wash it a few more times. That's how we do it back home. Upon hearing this, her 3 roommates breathed a sigh of relief. In our current trapped state, sufficient food could determine our life or death. Everyone praised Jing Xiling for her life experience. Roommate Dejuan quickly stepped in to help, sitting next to Jing Xiling to assist her in sorting the rice. Seeing this, the other 2 roommates were not to be outdone, desperately trying to show off in front of Jing Xiling. Much like peacocks spreading their tails, Xiao Zhou went to gather firewood, while Xiao Wang made a simple tool, ready to demonstrate how to start a fire by drilling wood. Only I sat not far away, watching them coldly. My fingernails were already digging into my palms. I gritted my teeth in anger. I've been reborn at the tragic starting point of my previous life. Summarizing the cause of the incident. It all came down to that small bag of rice. The supplies before departure were collectively decided and prepared by everyone. Jing Xiling brought insecticide, saying she was afraid there would be many mosquitoes and insects in the mountains, but when I took a closer look, I realized the insecticide she was using was too toxic and had largely fallen out of use in households, so I suggested she switch to a different kind. Unexpectedly, this touched a nerve with Jing Xiling's pride. She asked me if I thought the product she bought was cheap. To be honest, when it comes to insecticides, the stronger the toxicity, the simpler the ingredients, and naturally, the cheaper they are. But with only a few dollars difference inside and out, would I really have the leisure to complain about the cheap things she bought? I simply thought that since all our supplies were in one bag, if the toxicity was too strong, what if it contaminated the food? Jing Xiling angrily said she was going to buy new ones, but my 3 roommates quickly stopped her and instead blamed me for being too picky. I usually get along well with the 3 of them, but on this particular matter, no matter how much I tried to persuade them, they wouldn't listen and even seemed on the verge of losing their temper. With no other choice, I could only suggest wrapping the bag of rice in several more layers, just in case. However, all 4 of them glared at me, picked up the bag, and left. But it's really the what if that gets you every time. During a class field trip, we just happened to encounter a mudslide deep in the mountains. Everyone scattered and ran for their lives, and by the time we reached safety, we were all separated. Me, my 3 roommates, and Jing Xiling. 5 of us were trapped together. My worst fear has come true. That bottle of highly toxic insecticide was completely poured into the rice without any reservation. At that moment, I really wanted to scold all 4 of them. In such an extreme environment, if food safety cannot be guaranteed, it would undoubtedly be a death wish, but Jing Xiling insisted with conviction that it was fine, saying she often encountered such things back in her hometown and that washing it a few more times would do the trick. Upon hearing this, I immediately protested and explained the pros and cons to them. We are currently in a trapped situation, not out on a casual outing where we can retreat to the city at any time. Anything that goes into our mouths must be guaranteed safe. But with Jing Xiling's casual it's fine, all 3 of my roommates raised their hands in agreement. We had to find firewood to cook the rice. Faced with 4 living lives, I couldn't just stand by and watch. I rushed forward and scattered the contaminated rice. All 4 of them were furious and started cursing at me, saying I must have gone mad. I couldn't be bothered to deal with them, and I secretly made up my mind that once we got out of the mountains, we would each go our own way. Such brothers, who lose their minds over women, aren't worth keeping. Drawing on my experience of frequently watching wilderness survival videos, I followed the examples I had seen and started making tools to catch insects and birds. The first day was quite fruitful. My 3 roommates were shocked and gathered around me, constantly praising me for having a clever idea. Once the food was grilled, they acted like they were in a 100-meter race, each hiding their own ulterior motives as they went to flatter Jing Xiling. But Jing Xiling pinched her nose and said, "What is this thing? Is it a little bug from the mountains? How could you grill it? It's a life too. How pitiful." 3 roommates stood there, holding the freshly baked goods, completely at a loss, no matter how much they tried to persuade her. Jing Xiling wouldn't even glance at them. She kept accusing them of having no compassion, so all the baked goods were returned to me. The goddess protested, and they didn't dare eat them either. I really couldn't stop laughing. Eat it or not, I'll fill my own stomach first. Then the next day, my roommate Dezhuang couldn't stand it anymore, while Jing Xiling wasn't paying attention. He stuffed a freshly roasted bird directly into his mouth. It felt like he even chewed and swallowed the bones, his eyes gleaming with excitement. After noticing something was off, Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang immediately reported it to Jing Xiling. Jing Xiling, on the scene, actually burst into tears with anger. Everyone condemned Dezhuang, even demanding that he set up a cenotaph for the little bird. Watching Dezhuang kneel and pray so devoutly, I almost cringed with embarrassment. Is this what they call being love-struck? Are you sure you're not an idiot? Time quickly moved to the 3rd day. It seemed like my 3 roommates had come to an agreement, signing a non-disclosure pact with each other. They all started secretly eating wild game, but Jing Xiling, who hadn't eaten for 3 days, fainted from hunger. Her 3 roommates rushed over to perform various first aid measures, almost coming to blows in the process. They finally managed to shake Jing Xiling awake, however. Jing Xiling burst into tears and cried uncontrollably, directly pointing the spearhead at me. "You just looked down on me. That's why you threw away that rice, right before we left. You were already complaining that the insecticide I bought was too cheap." After saying that, she ran off emotionally distraught. As a result, she encountered the aftermath of a mudslide. Half of her body was buried. By the time we arrived, she was already on the verge of death. Everyone rushed to provide assistance. When we dug her out with our bare hands, Jing Xiling touched her leg in terror, and tears instantly poured down like rain. My leg has no feeling. My leg." The 3 roommates were frantic, not knowing what to do, yet at that moment, Jing Xiling, with tears in her eyes, roared at me in despair. "It's all your fault. All of this is your fault. You've ruined my life," I said. "You were the one who insisted on running away." "What does that have to do with me?" But Jing Xiling's crying only grew louder. At that moment, Dezhuang suddenly stood up, as if half-jokingly saying to Jing Xiling, "Xiling, don't be angry, I'll teach him a lesson for you." After saying that, she turned around and winked at me. My expression was unusually serious, trying to convey to him through this that it wasn't funny, but Dezhuang's face gradually darkened. He called over Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang. "Do you two want to see Xiling keep crying like this? Let's just teach this kid a simple lesson." "Okay." Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wen glanced at each other, then immediately stood up and joined Dezhuang. The 3 of them were not joking with me. In front of their goddess, they were eager to use every ounce of their strength to deal with me, the bad guy. While Big Zhuang tied my hands, Little Zhou directly restrained my feet, and Little Wang even went so far as to strangle my neck. The 3 of them were afraid of being outshone by others in front of their goddess. I struggled, resisted, and cursed, but it was all in vain. Just like that, I was tied up by the 3 of them and thrown into the muddy water. That night, lights appeared in the mountain forest. I realized that the rescue team had arrived. I immediately shouted at the 4 of them, telling them to let go of me quickly and go meet the rescue team. But Jing Xiling coldly said, "No one is allowed to save the person who harmed me, or I'll never speak to them again." I had thought that in the face of such a major right and wrong, my 3 roommates would at least maintain a basic sense of humanity, but the outcome left me utterly disappointed. They actually abandoned me, crowding around Jing Xiling as they left. No sooner had they left than the mountain began to tremble. I screamed in terror and despair. At the moment when the mudslide crushed my leg bones and ribs, and the shattered bones pierced my internal organs, ultimately crushing my skull with a massive rock, my piercing, agonized scream tore through the entire mountain forest. Even after being reborn, I still find it hard to believe that my roommate, who I had lived with day and night for over 2 years, could be so cold-hearted over a woman, and each of the 3 is more indifferent than the last. Heh. I let out a cold laugh from the depths of my heart. Watching the three of them scramble to help Jing Xiling wash the rice with muddy water, I turned and walked away. Zhang Fan, where are you going? Dazhuang spotted me and immediately called out. I waved my hand and said, check out the surrounding terrain. I had originally planned to leave them behind, but the actual situation turned out to be much more complicated than I had imagined. It can be said that our current location is the only safe spot. There are numerous hazardous areas in all directions. If we enter carelessly, there's no guarantee that a loose rock won't be dislodged with a single step, leading to danger. Moreover, based on the location, the area where the rescue team arrived first in my previous life is also the very place we are in now. It can be said that as long as you survive here, you can stay alive. But the thought of spending 3 days with 3 idiots and a female saint, taking a deep breath. The corners of my mouth slowly curl up. Since fate has decreed it so, I'll just watch you reap what you sow. Those are foods contaminated with highly toxic pesticides. How's the situation nearby? After I returned, Dazhuang looked up and asked me while stirring the rice in the pot. Even from this distance, I could faintly smell the pesticide inside. How are things going? I casually replied, then sat on the ground and started fiddling with a branch. Should we wait here for the rescue team? Or go out and look for the other classmates? Xiao Zhou asked suspiciously. Dazhuang immediately suggested that there is strength in numbers and advocated going out to find the group. However, Jing Xiling directly vetoed the idea. Jing Xiling said, it's likely that the entire class is in danger. Did you notice when we entered the mountains that there were very few people like us who had prepared supplies in advance? The rice we have now is probably only enough for a few people. If we join up with the larger group. Hearing this, I almost laughed out loud. Isn't she supposed to be a saint? In her past life, even when she was starving to the point of fainting, she refused to eat insects or birds, saying they were pitiful creatures. She even forced Dazhuang to kneel and bow before the animal carcasses. How come now? She's afraid others will share her rice to eat. But then again, who would want to eat her rice that smells of pesticide? Oh, Xiling, you make a good point. At that moment, Dazhuang slapped his forehead. Then we'd better just wait here honestly for the rescue team. After saying that, he instructed Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang to gather the other supplies in the bag together and not lose them. A little while later, the rice was cooked. However, the 3 boys looked at the rice with troubled expressions. I fiddled with the branch in my hand while glancing over there. Goodness, mud mixed with rice, darker than the darkest cuisine, but Jing Xiling said, it might be a bit gritty, but it's better than going hungry. As she spoke, she also glanced at me. I know she must still be holding a grudge over what I said before we set off. Originally, I didn't want to get involved, but then I suddenly remembered a joke. Before someone becomes wealthy, they must borrow money from everyone else first, so that later on, I wouldn't have to worry about losing face. I carefully placed the branch aside, stood up, brushed the sand off my pants, and strode over. Jing Xiling watched me intently and warily, as if guarding her food. After I arrived beside her, she immediately said sarcastically, if there are many people, this rice won't last for a few days. Zhang Fan, didn't you say before we left that the insecticide I bought was cheap and highly toxic? This pot of rice has been contaminated by that highly toxic insecticide. My 3 roommates immediately looked at me. They couldn't possibly have missed the meaning behind their goddess's words, but I acted as if I hadn't noticed, sitting cross-legged beside them and rubbing my palms together. At worst, it's just a stomachache. Special circumstances call for special measures. Snap. Just as I was about to reach out, Jing Xiling struck my hand with a wooden stick. You don't understand what I mean. I forbid you to eat it. I stopped what I was doing and slowly looked up. Jing Xiling, if I remember correctly, this rice wasn't bought by you, was it? Jing Xiling was immediately at a loss for words. No, it wasn't bought by me, but, no need for buts. Xiling, don't be polite. What I bought is essentially what you bought. Dazhuang finally found his strong point. He raised his head with a triumphant air, looking as if he wanted to scare me off and, in the process, crush the other 2 competitors so they couldn't stand up straight. I said, Dazhuang, what do you mean? We bought the supplies together back then. Are you planning to keep me from eating now? Dazhuang picked his nose. Bro, no matter how much stuff I buy, it's all just to play along with Xiling. Whatever Xiling says goes. And you 2, better behave yourselves, or you might starve to death here. After speaking, Dazhuang didn't forget to warn the other 2 competitors. I nodded with a cold sneer. Q, then what about all the things I bought? Before Dazhuang could speak, Jing Xiling said angrily, what did you buy? Those bottles and jars are either seasonings or condiments. Anyone who doesn't know would think you're a chef, and even if you are a chef, what's the use if you don't have anything to fill your stomach? Give him back all his things. We're going to go through a very difficult time ahead, so we must tighten our belts and avoid all unnecessary waste. Of course, I'm not targeting Zhang Fan specifically, because before we set out, Zhang Fan himself said he disliked the highly toxic insecticide I bought. I'm doing this for his own good, so that if he gets sick later, he won't blame me. My 3 roommates nodded repeatedly, giving Jing Xiling a thumbs up. Dazhuang even snatched the rice bowl away, scolding me to get lost immediately. I nodded with a smile on my face. All right. Then give all my things back to me, under Jing Xiling's command. They immediately found all the essential seasonings for wilderness survival that I had taken. These things are treasures to me right now, no matter what kind of game it is. How can it be swallowed without flavor? Dazhuan and the others must not know how much they admired my skills in their previous lives. I carefully packed my treasures one by one. Jing Xiling didn't forget to mock. Your things have all been given to you. From now on, the 4 of us have nothing to do with you. Okay, Zhang Fan. Of course, that's completely reasonable and compliant. However, those few bottles of medicine were also brought by me. I pointed again at the box inside the bag. Jing Xiling sneered. Just a few boxes of cheap medicine. She took the items out and threw them to me, adding sarcastically, back then, you looked down on the things I bought because they were cheap, as if your stuff was so expensive. Dazhuang. Does Zhang Fan usually live this frugally in the dorm with you guys? Dazhuang curled his lips and glared at me. So stingy. Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang also chimed in one after another. They were all about saying whatever Jing Xiling wanted to hear. I paid no attention and simply retreated to my own area, and the 4 of them began to enjoy the rice, but their expressions while enjoying it were a bit off. Their features grew increasingly distorted. A slight smile curled at the corner of my mouth. Turned around and left, hiding the medicine in a concealed spot. I also set up several traps at the place where food had been exposed in my previous life. After finishing all this, I broke off a wooden stick as thick as an arm to use for self-defense. When I returned, I saw the 4 of them sitting cross-legged together, chatting freely about life. We just didn't talk for long. Dazhuang, who had served himself the most rice, looked a bit pained. I guess something big is about to happen. Dazhuang sat on the ground, shrinking his body and shifting his butt back and forth. Jing Xiling asked him what was wrong. Dazhuang seemed a bit embarrassed. My stomach suddenly doesn't feel too good. Jing Xiling's expression immediately stiffened. Dazhuang, are you indirectly suggesting that my insecticide caused your stomachache? Dazhuang waved his hands in fright, saying it wasn't him. It was clear he was already holding back, not wanting to appear too uncomfortable in front of his goddess. But it seemed he couldn't hold on much longer. After twisting his body a few more times, he suddenly stood up. I need to go to the bathroom. Jing Xiling watched Dazhuang's retreating figure with annoyance, and her gaze happened to meet mine. As the corners of my mouth lifted, Jing Xiling immediately pursed her lips and spoke. Dazhuang might have caught a chill. I said the rice is fine, so it must be fine. Everyone should remember that contentment brings happiness. Some people don't even have food to eat right now. Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wen glanced back at me with a hint of schadenfreude, but before they could revel in their delight for long, they too began to feel the effects. Almost immediately, their eyes met, exchanging a knowing look in that moment. Both of them were deeply embarrassed, awkwardly rising to their feet. Jing Xiling's face grew even more stern at the sight. What's wrong with you two again? Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang spoke in unison. Maybe they caught a chill. After saying that, he ran off with his butt clenched. About half an hour later, Dazhuang and the other 2 returned one after another. They looked so unsteady on their feet, trembling all over, probably completely exhausted from diarrhea, and at this moment, I could clearly see that Jing Xiling was no longer as calm and composed as before. She was barely holding on because she had eaten so little. However, not long after Dazhuang and the others sat down, Jing Xiling stood up, seemingly annoyed. What do you 3 mean by this? Are you blaming my pesticide for making your stomach sick? The 3 of them exchanged glances and shook their heads vigorously. Meanwhile, Jing Xiling seized the opportunity, turned her face away, and walked off directly. This tactic of creating a diversion was perfectly in line with her little fairy persona. The 3 of them, including Dazhuang, were at a loss. Holding back my laughter, I said calmly, it's late at night, and you're willing to let her walk alone. The opportunity to show your concern is right in front of you, yet you don't even know how to take advantage of it. Upon hearing this, Dazhuang was the first to stand up. Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang also stepped up without hesitation. The 3 of them hurriedly ran in the direction Jing Xiling had left. Then, just a few minutes later, a sharp scream from Jing Xiling echoed through the woods. What are you 3 perverts following me for? Get lost. Dazhuang and the other 2 awkwardly ran back. It was your damn idea. Dazhuang glared at me fiercely, but as soon as he finished speaking, he clutched his stomach and ran off again. Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang followed closely behind. For a full 2 hours. All four of them took turns having diarrhea. As the night grew late, they looked haggard by the campfire, as if they could barely stand. Now it's my turn to find food. I slowly got up and, by the moonlight, retrieved the game I had caught with my trap. I sat cross-legged on the ground, plucking the feathers and cleaning out the innards. The four of them stared wide-eyed. Dazhuang asked me, "Zhang Fan, where did you catch this?" I said with a smile. "I picked it up from the ground." "That's a living creature. How could you be so cruel?" As expected, Jing Siling's bleeding heart erupted. I stopped plucking the feathers and asked her, worried that others might compete with you for rice, narrow-minded, treating human lives as nothing. "How dare you talk to me about cruelty?" Jing Siling's face flushed red instantly. She stammered for a long time but couldn't utter another word. I stood right in front of all four of them. "Build a fire with wood. Skewer the game with branches as thick as a finger, and roast it over the flames. In less than 10 minutes, the fat above starts dripping down. Each drop ignites a burst of flame. The four of them watch intently, watching me take out salt, cumin, and chili powder. I evenly sprinkled them on top. The surroundings instantly became fragrant and overflowing with aroma. After finishing, I chose the largest piece of meat and took a big bite. Delicious. Dazhuang couldn't hold back any longer and stood up, ready to come over, but he was frightened by Jing Siling's cold snort and sat back down again. "Haven't you ever eaten meat before? How can something like this taste good with just a bit of salt and seasoning?" Jing Siling scolded sharply. Dazhuang quickly chimed in, "Delicious my ass. I just wanted to see if he was eating any wild animals while eating the barbecue," I told him. "There's a legal term called necessity. What I eat is none of your business." All four of them rolled their eyes at me. You can see each one of them swallowing their saliva. Even Jing Siling is no exception. The next day at dawn, I brought back a few more wild game, and the four of them were lying helplessly on the ground, too weak to even speak. They must have heard the sound of me stacking firewood. Dazhuang immediately stood up. "I can't take it anymore. Zhang Fan, give me a bite." I immediately put away the game meat, guarding against him just as they had guarded against me that night. "You don't get any. We've drawn a clear line, as your goddess said. Besides, I see you still have some rice over there, right? How about I add a little oil for you?" "Stop joking, Zhang Fan. I'm completely out of energy right now. That rice, it's inedible." Dazhuang spoke in a pleading tone, but my attitude was firm. I said we need to draw a clear line, so we must draw a clear line. "Unless," Dazhuang's eyes lit up, "unless what?" "Unless you stop caring about that Jing Siling, I might still consider it." Upon hearing my words, Dazhuang immediately became furious. "Who do you think you are? You're just a piece of rotten meat. I'd rather starve to death than eat your food." After saying that, he staggered back. She could see Jing Siling giving him a look of approval. However, this stalemate didn't last long before it was disrupted, because their condition seemed to have worsened. Around noon, the three men, including Dazhuang, lay on the ground, groaning incessantly. Jing Siling, who had likely eaten less and was the least affected by the poisoning, walked toward me with a dazed expression. She said to me, "Give us your medicine." I asked, "Why?" Jing Siling showed a pained expression. "Because we can barely survive. In such a critical situation, could you please stop joking with us?" Hearing this, I laughed out loud. Right and wrong on major issues, these words actually came out of Jing Siling's mouth. Should I tell her that in my past life, it was precisely because of right and wrong on major issues that they ended up causing me to be swept away by a mudslide, crushed to pieces? I shook my head and said, "Not only are you all feeling unwell, but I'm also not feeling well. I've already taken all the medicine." "How is that possible? How could you have taken several boxes of medicine?" Jing Siling asked me with a pale face. I shrugged. "Because the medicine I bought has fewer side effects, so the dosage is larger." "Impossible. You must be lying to me." Jing Siling grew somewhat anxious. She rushed over and started rummaging through my things. I grabbed a wooden stick and slapped it across the back of her hand. That night, I hit her exactly the same way she had hit me with the wooden stick. Jing Siling's eyes welled up with tears from the beating I gave her. But before I could get angry, I saw a medicine box in my bag. "You're lying. Isn't that a medicine box?" Of course, I knew what that was. After all, I had deliberately left it there for you to see. "Zhang Fan, I beg you, please, if I don't take the medicine soon, I feel like I'm going to die here. I'm sorry for what I did before. I apologize." Jing Siling pleaded with me, her face full of distress. I sneered, "Is that all?" Jing Siling paused for a moment. The next second, he uttered a sentence that nearly petrified me on the spot. "Otherwise, I'll sleep with you. I really can't go on living anymore. Please." The weight of those words was immense. Dazhuang and the other two, who had been writhing in agony, all propped themselves up at that moment. Their faces grew increasingly grim. "Siling, what are you saying? How can you be so shameless? It's just medicine, right? Let's work together and snatch it from him. After all, We're in this desolate wilderness. Even if something happens to him, no one would suspect us. At De Zhuang's command, he called for Xiao Zhou and Xiao Wang to join in, but these three people couldn't even stand steadily, still want to rob me. I just sat there, not even giving them a proper glance. I only spoke to Jing Xiling. The medicine I have left is only enough for one person. Save me, then save me. Jing Xiling excitedly grabbed my arm. In this desolate wilderness, a man and a woman working together is the only way to survive. I'm willing to be your girlfriend. I'm willing to sleep with you. After we take the medicine, let's leave this place immediately, far away from these burdens. Hearing this, I couldn't help but burst into laughter. As for Big Strong and the other two, their faces were ashen, utterly despairing. Big Strong angrily pointed at Jing Xiling. You bitch. It's because we ate your poison rice that we ended up in such a miserable state. And now you want to abandon us, even willing to sleep with someone else. I don't need you to worry about me, you pathetic simp. Get lost. After cursing De Zhuang, Jing Xiling immediately turned to me for help. Zhang Fan, please, can you give me the medicine quickly? I beg you, I can't hold on much longer. I smiled and tossed the medicine box over. Jing Xiling started eating as soon as she unwrapped it. Without a moment's hesitation, De Zhuang and the other two trembled with rage, grinding their teeth as they spoke. I never imagined human nature could be so vile. You two are nothing but a pair of scoundrels. Damn it, even if we die and turn into ghosts, we won't let you off. Hearing these words, I couldn't help but feel both amused and exasperated. The word humanity actually came out of his mouth. Out of the 5 people present, aside from me, not a single one has any humanity. You want to see humanity, don't you? Then I'll keep showing it to you next. My 3 roommates cursed until their mouths were dry and their energy completely drained, then collapsed limply back onto the floor. 2 hours after taking the medicine, Jing Xiling still showed no signs of improvement. Her condition was worsening, and her lips were beginning to turn pale. She asked me weakly, Zhang Fan, why isn't this medicine working? I sneered inwardly. You 4 are poisoned, and my medicine isn't an antidote. It would be strange if it worked, but I didn't say that. Instead, I told her, probably because your stamina is running low. You haven't eaten for 2 days, have you? While I was checking the traps earlier, I caught another wild rabbit. I'll roast it in a bit, then I'll leave it to you. Jing Xiling swallowed hard, desperately leaning toward me, trying to rest her head on my shoulder. I directly pushed her away, suspiciously asking her, aren't you the one who thinks little animals are pitiful? I was just pretending. Little animals aren't pitiful at all. I just love eating roasted rabbit. Jing Xiling continued to lean closer to me, as if afraid I might change my mind, wanting to give me a little taste of something sweet, but I told her directly, stay away from me. I have no interest in you at all. I only see the 4 of you as classmates, but with so many wolves and so little meat, I can only give the meat to one of you. Jing Xiling shook her head in fear, and upon hearing this, all 3 of my roommates immediately sat up, their eyes flickering with a faint light. I stood up and casually propped the rabbit up. You 4 decide among yourselves who gets to eat the meat. As soon as the words were spoken, the 4 of them started arguing, and the quarrel quickly escalated. The scene was too chaotic, and I wasn't in the mood to listen to what they were cursing about. I only cared about the outcome. Then, all of a sudden, I saw them wrestling with each other, even though they were all sick. Big Strong had the advantage in physique. In no time, he had knocked the other 2 roommates to the ground. He stood up shakily, rubbing his hands together as he walked toward me. Jing Xiling immediately said, I'll eat this rabbit. De Zhuang, when we get back, I'll be your girlfriend. Be your girlfriend, my ass. De Zhuang yanked Jing Xiling away, glaring and cursing. I must have been blind to fall for a bitch like you. Don't even think about fighting me for this roasted rabbit, or I'll beat you up too. Jing Xiling was scared to tears, but De Zhuang clearly showed no mercy at all. Sitting by the fire, he started to butter me up, offering all sorts of apologies. He even said we were good brothers. I sneered, don't try to get chummy, you'll get the roasted rabbit. But wait, I looked at him strangely. Didn't you say you'd rather starve than eat anything of mine? No, I was being foolish. De Zhuang quickly explained. As soon as the roasted rabbit was ready, he eagerly tore off a large piece and stuffed it into his mouth, chewing vigorously. The other 3 watched, swallowing their saliva, yet Jing Xiling still seemed unwilling to give up. She knelt down and begged De Zhuang to let her have a bite, but De Zhuang kicked her to the ground and casually tossed a bone that had been gnawed clean, not even a scrap left, and even then, Jing Xiling picked it up and chewed it carefully. Watching these scenes, I kept snorting coldly. In my past life, I gave you a good life, but you didn't appreciate it. Instead, you heartlessly caused me to be torn to pieces. In this life, you will reap what you have sown and fully experience the torment of human nature. De Zhuang wolfed down his meal and lazily lay down on the ground. Jing Xiling and the other 2 roommates had completely lost the light in their eyes. At that moment, I said, those who failed today can try again tomorrow. There will be meat tomorrow too, but only one person can eat with me. As the sky grew dark, I lay down on the ground to sleep after finishing my words, but it was all just for show. I vaguely felt that something might happen in this desperate situation. Sure enough, I'm not sure what time it was, but I only know that when I was most sleepy, I felt an unusual sound around me. I followed the sound to take a look. In the darkness, I found Xiaozhou and Jing Xiling embracing each other. With their hands all over each other, Jing Xiling pushed and shoved while whispering, "We have to deal with Dazhuang, or we won't have any meat to eat tomorrow. We'll really die in this mountain forest. I'll do whatever you say. Hurry up and take off your clothes." The unbearable sounds made me snort coldly as I turned and walked away. After they finished, I had already returned to my original spot, pretending to be asleep. I felt them walk past me, and then suddenly, a commotion broke out on the scene. Xiaozhou was riding on Dazhuang, fiercely gripping his neck. "Let us have the meat tomorrow. Okay, hurry up and say yes." Dazhuang struggled with all his might, and Jing Xiling quickly rushed over to help, pressing his head down firmly. Xiaowang, who was nearby, was awakened by the noise. After a moment of stunned silence, he charged forward to intervene, but Jing Xiling shouted with all her might, "Do you want to starve to death here? With him around, we'll never get to eat meat. What are you standing there for? Hurry up and come help. Make him give in." Xiaowang, flustered, rushed over to help hold down Dazhuang's leg. The three of them turned shouting at Dazhuang, "You've already had meat today. How about you give us the meat tomorrow? The three of us will only eat the amount meant for one person." Dazhuang didn't speak, just struggled desperately. The three of them exerted even more force, until Dazhuang calmed down and offered no more resistance. Only then did the three of them let go, all stepping back several meters in fear. "We're done for. We've killed someone." Xiaozhou felt as if his soul had nearly fled in terror. Collapsing weakly to his knees on the ground, Jing Xiling, however, immediately spoke up at that moment. "What do you mean we? It was clearly you who killed him. You strangled him to death." Xiaozhou listened, then glared fiercely at Jing Xiling. "You bitch, what are you saying? Wasn't all of this designed and arranged by you?" But Jing Xiling immediately denied it. "I just wanted him to compromise. I didn't tell you to kill anyone. You saw it too, Xiaowang. We just had him under control." The one who went for the kill was Xiaozhou. Jing Xiling pointed at Xiaozhou. Xiaowang nodded vigorously. "That's right, he's the one who killed him. It has nothing to do with us." Xiaozhou went completely mad, rushing over. He started hitting Xiaowang, and Jing Xiling hurriedly moved away. Just like that, the two of them fought more and more fiercely, and then Xiaowang's head was suddenly struck by a stone in Xiaozhou's hand, causing him to fall straight to the ground. You've killed someone again." Jing Xiling pointed at Xiaozhou in terror. Xiaozhou nervously threw away the stone, but as his body trembled more and more violently, he suddenly picked it up again. "Since it's death either way, let's all die together today." He grabbed the stone and charged toward Jing Xiling. In her panic, Jing Xiling picked up the wooden stick I had specially made for self-defense, screaming while waving towards Xiaozhou. As a result, the stick actually pierced directly into Xiaozhou's eye. Xiaozhou covered his eye and screamed in agony, while Jing Xiling hid far away. She found me and pleaded with me. "Zhang Fan, can you help me? I'll be your slave from now on. I'll do whatever you tell me to." I asked, "How can I help you?" "Kill Xiaozhou, then throw their 3 bodies into the mudslide. It's normal for a few people to go missing in a mudslide." Hearing this, I burst out laughing. He turned and left. She didn't even have the strength to chase after me throughout the night. I heard Xiaozhou's screams grow from loud to faint, until they completely vanished. At the break of dawn the next day, I discovered that the bodies of the 3 of them were gone, and along with them, Jing Xiling had disappeared as well. I don't know where the person went. I didn't think too much about it. After filling my stomach, I silently waited for nightfall, as the flashlight beams appeared in the mountain forest. The rescue team arrived as scheduled. I was successfully rescued. The first thing I did upon returning to the real world was to go to the police station and report the incident. I recounted the murder case from that night without holding anything back. About 2 days later, the bodies of the deceased students were gradually discovered. A total of 15 people from our class lost their lives. The bodies also included Dazhuang, Xiaozhou, and Xiaowang. Based on my report, the police immediately conducted an autopsy on the bodies, confirming that the cause of death was consistent with what I had reported. However, Jing Xiling appeared on the list of the missing. She was nowhere to be found. The police searched the mountains while assuming she had fled to avoid punishment, checking various surveillance cameras and stations, but there was no news at all. It wasn't until a full month later that a shepherd discovered a half-decomposed, highly corrupted body on the mountain. Through DNA testing, It was confirmed that the deceased was Jing Xiling, who is on the list of missing persons. She probably encountered the aftermath of a mudslide while trying to escape that night, just like in her previous life. But in her previous life, someone saved her. This time, she could only watch helplessly as half her body was buried, feeling her breath slowly fade away. It's nothing less than what she deserves. Revenge is finally mine. From now on, I will cherish every moment of my remaining life. So as to live up to this second chance, after hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. After being reborn, I rushed into the bank, clutching my ID card. I completely cancelled that savings card with the ending number 666. In my past life, Gao Lang always said he was short on cash flow for his business, and he would borrow my card for transactions every now and then. Back then, I was blinded by love, even setting my password as his birthday. It wasn't until debt collectors kicked open my door that I saw my name listed as the emergency contact on the loan agreement. Every deposit in the bank card statement flowed into Gao Lang's gaming accounts and luxury stores. I took the transfer record to confront Gao Lang. He was embracing his new lover, trying on the Rolex he had bought with my card. During the argument, he pushed me, and the moment the back of my head hit the corner of the counter, I saw a message pop up on his phone. Mr. Gao, the online loan applied for using Miss Lin's information has been approved. Opening my eyes again, the calendar on the desk had just been flipped to the day Gao Lang first asked to borrow the card, and his WeChat message was still flashing on the phone. Baby, lend me your card to transfer some money. I'll pay you back right away. Will I still be that foolish in this life, Gao Lang? You'll reap what you sow. My finger hovered over the ATM screen for 3 seconds. In the end, I pressed confirm. As the savings card ending in 666 was swallowed by the machine, I heard the frantic beating of my own heart, as if it were about to leap out of my throat. My phone vibrated in my pocket. It was Gao Lang. When his name popped up on the screen, my fingertips went numb. Images from my past life suddenly flooded my mind. He stood at the luxury counter with his new lover in his arms, the Rolex on his wrist dazzling under the lights. It was bought with my card. I rushed over and tugged at his sleeve. When he turned around, the impatience in his eyes was as cold as ice. Have you had enough? He pushed me with great force. I staggered backward, and the back of my head hit the corner of the counter. Did it hurt? It doesn't seem to hurt. It's just that everything suddenly went dark. The last thing I saw was his phone screen lighting up. The text message was as clear as if it were etched in my mind. Mr. Gao, the online loan applied for using Su Qingyan's information has been approved. Su Qingyan, that's my name. The phone is still vibrating. The vibration is getting more and more urgent. I took a deep breath and pressed the reject button. As I turned to walk out, the glass door of the bank lobby reflected my face, pale, with dark circles under my eyes. It was the look of someone haunted by nightmares from a past life for too long, but the eyes are bright, bright as tempered steel. Gao Lang, in this lifetime, what you owe me, I will make you repay, bit by bit, with interest. Just stepped out of the bank, and my phone rang again. This time it was a landline number. The location showed it was from this city. I stared at the screen for 2 seconds, swiped to answer. Is this a mess, Su Qingyan? The voice on the other end of the line was a mechanical female tone. This is Dingxing Investment. Mr. Gao Lang has applied for a loan in your name, and we now need your confirmation. I hung up the phone directly. Block this number. The action was swift, without a hint of hesitation. It was this phone number in my past life. Back then, I foolishly asked, what loan? I don't know anything about it. The other party then said, Mr. Gao has kept a copy of your ID card and bank card information. If you don't confirm, it will affect your credit. I panicked, called back to explain. From then on, fell into a bottomless pit. The phone fell silent. Sunlight fell on me, a bit warm. I looked up at the sky. It was a piercing blue. Today is Friday. There are 3 hours left until Gao Lang first asks to borrow my card. There are 7 days left until he tricks me into signing that guarantee contract. There are 3 months left until my parents are forced to move overnight by debt collection calls. There is still time for everything. I clutched the bank card cancellation receipt in my pocket tightly. My knuckles turn white. Gao Lang, the game has begun. This time, I set the rules. When I returned to the company, the receptionist girl looked at me a bit strangely. Sister Sue, you look really pale. I tugged at the corner of my mouth and said nothing. I ran into the department manager in the elevator. He patted me on the shoulder. Qingyan, keep a close eye on that partnership with Gao Lang this afternoon. I nodded. The fingertips were trembling. It was this very collaboration in my previous life. Gao Lang said the client requested to use a private account and asked me to lend him my bank card for a day, just for a transfer. I'll return it to you right away. He smiled gently at that moment, the light in his eyes like stars. I was deceived by those stars. Deceit to the point of losing my family and home. In the office, Gao Lang was already seated at the workstation across from me. He wore a white shirt today, with the sleeves rolled up to his forearms, revealing the watch on his wrist. I bought it last year for his birthday. I saved up 3 months' salary to buy him an Omega. Now looking at it, it just feels ironic. He looked up and saw me, then smiled. Qingyan, you're here. His voice is still so pleasant to hear, like the lower register of a cello. I used to love listening to him speak, now it just sounds grating. Didn't sleep well last night. He raised an eyebrow, his gaze falling on the dark circles under my eyes. I responded, pulling out the chair and sitting down. I deliberately slowed down the motion of turning on the computer. I was waiting for him to ask to borrow the card. Sure enough, he tapped on my desk. By the way, the client is transferring funds this afternoon. Can I use your card? Here it comes. My hand gripping the mouse tightened. A document popped up on the screen, the unfinished proposal from last night. I stared at the screen, not looking at him. My card got swallowed yesterday. The voice was very calm. Gao Lang was taken aback for a moment. Was it swallowed? The ATM is malfunctioning. I turned to look at him, forcing a smile. I just went to the bank to close the account. The smile on his face froze for half a second, soon returned to normal. What a coincidence. Yes. I lowered my eyes, pretending to flip through the documents, use someone else's. He didn't speak. I can feel his gaze resting on me, with scrutiny, as if judging whether I'm lying or not. After a while, he finally spoke. All right, I'll ask someone else. The tone is hard to discern, but I know, he's getting suspicious. Fine, better let him know sooner that I'm not the fool I used to be. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The client's payment has arrived. Gao Lang used the card of another girl from the same department. I watched him holding his phone, smiling gently at that girl, exactly the same as he once did with me. It felt like a needle had pricked my heart. It didn't hurt, it was just a bit numb. That girl's name was Meng Yao. In her previous life, she was also deceived by Gao Lang. She was cheated out of 50,000 yuan. Later, she came to me crying, saying that Gao Lang had disappeared. At that time, I was struggling to protect myself and could only watch her cry. In this life, I can't let her jump into the fire pit again. As I was leaving work, Meng Yao called out to me, Sujia, Gao Lang said he wants to treat us to dinner tonight. To thank you for helping me out this afternoon. I paused in my steps. I turned to look at her. The girl's eyes sparkled, showing a clear fondness for Gao Lang. Why did he invite you to dinner? I asked. He said, he thinks I'm a good person. Meng Yao lowered her head, a bit embarrassed. I took a deep breath. Meng Yao, I said, looking into her eyes, word by word, stay away from Gao Lang. She froze. Sister Su, you, listen to me. I cut her off. Don't ask why. After saying that, I turned and walked away. I didn't look back. I don't know if she'll listen, but I've said all I needed to say. As I walked out of the office building, my phone rang. It was my mom. Qingyan, are you coming home for dinner tonight? Your dad bought some pork ribs. The moment I heard her voice, my nose tingled with emotion, tears almost fell. In my previous life, the last time my mother spoke to me was at the nursing home entrance. With red eyes, she scolded me. How did I raise such an ungrateful child? Later, she fell ill. I went to the hospital to see her, and she kept her eyes closed, not even lifting her eyelids. Mom, I gripped the phone tightly, my voice a bit hoarse. I'm coming back. Okay, I'll wait for you. After hanging up, I stood by the roadside, watching the bustling traffic. The sunlight stretches the shadows long. Wonderful. They are still here. They can still call me home for dinner. Gao Lang, look, this is what I want to protect. If you dare touch it again, I will make you die a horrible death. When I pushed open the door, the aroma of spare ribs wafted over. My dad was busy in the kitchen, wearing an apron. Hearing the noise, he poked his head out. Back, I changed my shoes and walked over. The white hair at his temples seemed a little less than I remembered. I breathed a sigh of relief. In my past life, he was the one who turned gray overnight due to harassing debt collection calls. Dad, let me help you. No need. Just sit and rest for a while. He pushed me out. Your mom is picking vegetables in the living room. My mother sat on the sofa, holding green beans in her hand. Seeing me, she smiled. Tired. Have a drink of water first. On the coffee table was a glass of cold boiled water. I took a sip. The water was sweet. It tasted like it did when I was a child. During the meal, my father suddenly brought up Gao Lang. That little Gao seems to be quite attentive to you. My hand, holding the chopsticks, paused for a moment. Dad, how do you know? Last time I went to your office building, I saw him bringing you milk tea. My mom chimed in. The young man looks nice and speaks politely. My heart tightened. So it started this early. Mom, he and I are just colleagues. Colleagues? My father raised an eyebrow. The way he looks at you seems more than just colleagues. I put down my chopsticks. Dad, Mom, I need to tell you something. They both looked at me. Stay away from Gao Lang from now on. My mom was taken aback for a moment. What's wrong? Did he offend you? No. I shook my head. I just think he's not a very good person. I couldn't exactly tell them that this person would later cause them to be unable to return home. This child. My father frowned. You can't just speak ill of others. I'm not speaking ill of them. I looked at them. Just listen to me. Don't get involved with him, especially when it comes to money. My mother thought for a moment and nodded. All right, I'll listen to you, Mom. My dad didn't say anything, but he didn't argue either. I felt a little more at ease. At least they wouldn't easily believe Gao Lang anymore. After finishing the meal, I helped clear the dishes. The phone rang in the living room. It was Gao Lang. My mom went to answer it. Hello. Oh, looking for Qing Yan. She's washing the dishes. Okay, I'll have her call you back. After hanging up, she looked at me with a somewhat ambiguous expression. Xiao Gao is looking for you. I wiped my hands and picked up my phone. I walked to the balcony before calling back. Hello, Qingyan, are you home? Gao Lang's voice carried a hint of laughter. Yes, just now, Mingyao said you told her to stay away from me. Indeed, Mingyao still told him. I leaned against the railing, looking at the streetlights below. Yes, why? His voice grew a bit deeper. No reason. My tone was flat. I just don't think you're right for her. Then who am I right for? He suddenly asked. I was taken aback for a moment, then he laughed. Anyway, it's not for me. There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. Qingyan, you're acting strange today. Am I? I fiddled with the hem of my clothes. Maybe I'm just tired. It's the weekend tomorrow. Do you want to go see a movie together? He changed the subject. No, I have something to do tomorrow. What is it? None of your business. With that, I hung up the phone directly. Blocked. A series of actions executed smoothly. In my past life, I cared too much about his feelings, which allowed him to lead me by the nose. This lifetime, it's unnecessary. Just as I tucked my phone back into my pocket, I received a text message. It was from the bank, reminding me that there was a deposit of 5,000 yuan into my savings card ending in 3791. I was taken aback for a moment. I just got this card today. No one knows the card number except the bank, who would transfer money to me. Open the transfer record. The payer's name was unfamiliar, but the note read, transferred by Gao Lang. My heart suddenly tightened. Gao Lang, what is he up to again? $5,000, not a penny more, not a penny less. Exactly the same amount he borrowed from me for the first time in our previous life. At that time, he said his mother was sick and urgently needed money, without a second thought. I transferred my just received salary to him. Later, I found out he used that money to buy a bag for his new lover. I stared at that text message for a long time. Fingertips are cold. He's testing me, testing whether I'm really on guard against him. If I return the money, he'll know that I've truly changed. If I accept it, he would think I'm still the fool he can manipulate. I took a deep breath, opened the transfer details, find the bank card number of the payer, then I transferred the 5,000 yuan back. The note had only 2 words, not lending. After doing all this, I set my phone to silent. I turned around and went back to the living room. My mom was sitting on the sofa watching TV. She smiled when she saw me. Who are you talking to on the phone for so long? A colleague. I walked over and sat down beside her. Mom, how about we go on a trip to the countryside next week? My mother's eyes lit up. Great, your father has been wanting to go for a long time. Seeing her smile, my heart felt warm. Gao Lang, no matter what tricks you play, I won't let you ruin my life anymore. I woke up very early on Saturday morning. Sunlight filtered through the gap in the curtains, casting a strip of light on the floor. Picked up the phone and opened WeChat. Gao Lang's WeChat was still in the blacklist. Felt a bit more at ease. Got up, washed up, and changed clothes. Before going out, my mom handed me a bag of bread. Eat it on the way. Yes, I'm going somewhere today. In my past life, Gao Lang had a secret base. It was his rented apartment. He had hidden many things there, including the contracts for loans he took out using my information, as well as his chat records with other girls. It was only after his death, while sorting through his belongings, that I accidentally discovered that place. The address, I still remember it clearly to this day, in an old residential area on the outskirts of the city. It took 40 minutes to get there by taxi. At the security booth by the entrance of the community, an elderly man was sitting. Seeing me, he squinted and asked, "Who are you looking for?" "I'm looking for Gao Lang." I gave Gao Lang's name and the apartment number. The old man looked me up and down, didn't ask anything more, and waved me in. It seems Gao Lang often brings different girls here. The old man is no longer surprised by it. Walking into the hallway, a musty smell hits you in the face, the wall paint is peeling, and the stair railings are covered in rust. I hold onto the railing as I walk upstairs, 3rd floor, room 302. The door was closed. I stood at the doorway and took a deep breath. In my previous life, I broke in by picking the lock. This time around, I came prepared in advance. I took out a set of keys from my bag. They were the ones I had someone make for me yesterday. In my previous life, I discovered the spare key that Gao Lang had hidden in that apartment. It was hidden inside the box of the fire hydrant by the door. Sure enough, I found it there. I inserted the key into the lock and turned it gently. Click, the door opened. A faint scent of perfume, mixed with the smell of cigarettes, wafted toward me, exactly the same as the scent in my memory. The apartment was small, with just one bedroom and one living room. The decor is very simple, but everywhere you look, there are women's things: lipstick, earrings, skirts. Clearly, more than one woman has been here. I walked into the living room, my gaze falling on the coffee table. On it sat a laptop. It was Gao Lang's. In my past life, it was on this very computer that I found all the evidence of his crimes. I walked over and turned on the computer. It required a password. I entered my birthday. No. Then I tried his birthday. Not quite right. Frowned. In his previous life, his computer password was the pinyin of my name. Could it have been changed? I'm feeling a bit nervous. If I can't turn on the computer, I won't be able to find the evidence. I take a deep breath and try hard to recall. How did I open it in my past life? It seems like I tried the pinyin of Meng Yao's name. The screen lit up. The password was correct. My heart suddenly tightened. He actually used Meng Yao's name as the password. It seems he's serious about Meng Yao. Or is it just a fleeting interest? No time to think about these things. I opened the folder. Sure enough, there were many things inside. A folder named Contract. Click. Inside were all scanned copies of loan agreements. In the borrower column, my name was clearly written, Su Qingyan. The emergency contact was my parents' phone number. The date was 1 month before I was being chased for debt in my previous life. There were also many other girls' names. Meng Yao's name was among them. The loan amounts ranged from 5,000 to 50,000. My hands are trembling. This evidence is enough to ruin him. I took out my phone and started taking photos, one by one. I captured them clearly. Then, I backed up these photos to the cloud, and sent them to another one of my email accounts. After finishing these, I opened another folder. Inside were screenshots of chat records, Gao Lang's ambiguous conversations with different girls. What he said to each girl was pretty much the same: I only like you. Once I finish this busy period, I'll take you to meet my parents. Those women are all just for show. It made my stomach churn. I was truly blind in my past life. How could I have believed such nonsense? I continued scrolling down. I came across his chat history with an unfamiliar number. The other party's note is Brother Wang, Gao Lang. It's time to repay Su Qingyan's loan. Brother Wang, just a few more days. I'll have the money soon. Don't play games with me. If you don't pay up, I'll go find her parents. No, Brother Wang, I'll definitely pay. The date was 3 days before I was chased for the debt. It turns out he already knew he would be chased for debt, yet he didn't tell me a thing, leaving me completely in the dark, even watching as the debt collection company drove me into a corner. Tears suddenly fell. They hit the keyboard, spreading a small patch of moisture. I quickly wiped away the tears. Don't cry. Now is not the time to cry. I took photos of these chat records. One by one, fingertips brushed across the keyboard, accidentally knocking over the photo frame on the corner of the desk. Glass shattered all over the floor. In the photo, Gao Lang was smiling brightly with his arm around a girl. I knew that girl. He is the director of our company, Li Man, 35 years old, divorced, and holds a lot of resources. In my previous life, I only found out after being fired that Gao Lang had already hooked up with her, using the money she had swindled from me to buy her bags, her car. How ironic. I crouched down and carefully picked up the photo and placed it in my own bag. This is also evidence. Suddenly, the sound of a key turning came from outside the door. My heart instantly leaped into my throat. Someone has returned. Is it Gao Lang or another woman? No time to think. I quickly turned off the computer and restored everything to its original state. Then, I hurried to the bedroom. I hid inside the wardrobe. There were many women's clothes hanging in the wardrobe. The scent of perfume grew stronger. I covered my mouth and held my breath. The door opened. Footsteps approached. It was a man's voice. He was on the phone. Got it, Brother Wang. I'll definitely pay back that money next week. Don't worry. I've already taken care of Su Qingyan. She's still completely devoted to me. It was Gao Lang. My nails dug deep into the palm of my hand, dead set on it. He really dares to say that. All right. Let's leave it at that for now. Someone's here on my end. He hung up the phone. Then, a woman's voice came through. Who is it? It was Li Man. Nothing. Just debt collectors. Gao Lang's voice carried impatience. Debt collectors are after you again. Li Man's voice held a hint of concern. How much do you actually owe? It's not much. I'll pay it back soon, Gao Lang reassured. By the way, could you lend me some money for now? Didn't I just transfer you 50,000 last time? That money isn't enough. Gao Lang, what exactly are you doing? Li Man's voice rose slightly. If you keep this up, we should stop contacting each other. Don't be like that, Sister Man. Gao Lang's voice softened. I'm just working on a big project right now. Once it's done, I'll pay you back 10-fold, 100-fold. What project? This, I can't say for now. I think you're just lying to me. I didn't. Next came the sound of a struggle. Then, Li Man screamed, let go. Gao Lang, you're hurting me, Manjia. Just help me one more time. Just once. Gao Lang's voice was filled with madness. I have no money left. How can you have no money? Didn't you just sell that house? That was my son's tuition money. Lend it to me first, and I'll pay you back as soon as I have money. You're dreaming. Then don't blame me for being impolite. Gao Lang's voice turned fierce. I hid in the wardrobe, trembling all over. In my past life, how did I not realize he was such a person? Crazy, paranoid, willing to do anything for money. The commotion outside grew louder and louder. There was the sound of something being shattered, and Li Man's cries. I took out my phone and switched it to recording mode. I extended the phone through the gap in the wardrobe, trying to record as clearly as possible. After about 10 minutes or so, it became quiet outside. Only Li Man's sobbing could be heard. Gao Lang, you beast, money, I can give you. Gao Lang's voice was very calm. But you have to do something for me. What is it? Help me transfer Su Qingyan to the branch company. My heart sank abruptly. He wants to transfer me away. Why? Why transfer her to the branch office? Li Man was puzzled. She's been a bit disobedient lately. Gao Lang's voice turned cold. Keeping her at a distance makes her easier to control. What do you think you're doing to her? Don't ask questions you shouldn't. Gao Lang cut her off. Just tell me, will you help me or not? Li Man remained silent for a long time. All right, I'll help you. That's more like it, Sister Man. Gao Lang's voice softened again. Once I succeed, I'll make sure to repay you properly. No need. I'll transfer the money to you. And from now on, we're even. Sister Man, don't call me. Footsteps sounded. Li Man left. The door was slammed shut hard. Only Gao Lang remained in the room. He seemed to be drinking. The sound of bottles clinking. Then, his muttering to himself, Su Qingyan, do you think canceling your card will make a difference? Do you think telling Mengyao to stay away from me will solve anything? Too naive. I have copies of your ID card and all your bank card information here. Trying to get rid of me, dream on, in this life. You still have to obediently be my ATM. My heart sank bit by bit. Originally, he had already prepared a backup plan. He still has my information in his hands. Then wouldn't all my efforts today be in vain? No, I can't give up. I have evidence. I recorded his conversation with Li Man. I found his loan contract. These are all his crimes. Gao Lang, just you wait. I won't let you succeed. A little while later. Gao Lang seems to have left. The room fell completely silent. I hid in the wardrobe for a long time, making sure he was really gone. Only then did I dare to come out. The room was in complete disarray. Vases were shattered all over the floor. The table had been overturned. There's still blood on the floor. Is it Li Man's? I feel a chill in my heart. I walked to the living room and picked up my bag. I walked out quickly. The moment I closed the door, I heard my own heartbeat, like a drum beating. I walked downstairs. The sunlight is blinding. Yet I feel a chill all over my body. My phone vibrated in my pocket. It's a text message, sent by the company's HR, Su Qingyan. After company deliberation, you are being transferred to a branch office. Report there next Monday. Here it comes. Gao Lang moves quickly indeed. The branch office is in a neighboring city. It's over 200 kilometers away from here. He wants to move me away from my parents. Then, he can use my information to borrow money without any restraint, leaving me with nowhere to turn for help. What a beautiful thought. I look at that text message. A cold smile curls at the corner of my mouth. Gao Lang, you want to play? I'll see this through to the end. Transfer to a branch office, is it? All right, I'm eager to see what tricks you can come up with. When I got home, it was already afternoon. My mom was startled when she saw me. Why do you look so pale? It's nothing, Mom. I'm just a bit tired. I placed my bag on the sofa and walked straight to the bedroom. Only after closing the door did I dare to let out a sigh of relief. My back was already soaked in cold sweat. I made another backup of the recordings and photos from my phone. That made me feel a little more at ease. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, my mind was filled with Gao Lang's words. He had a copy of my ID card in his hand, and bank card information. That is to say, even if I change my card and phone number, he can still borrow money in my name. What should I do? Could it be that in this life, I still can't escape? No, there must be a way. I sit up. Turn on the computer, start searching. How to prevent others from using your identity information to borrow money. There are many answers. Change your bank card password, regularly check your credit report, activate SMS alerts. The most important point is, if you discover that your identity has been misused, report it to the police immediately. Report to the police. Yes, call the police. In my past life, why didn't I think of calling the police? Because I was too foolish. I always thought that as long as I explained things clearly to Gao Lang, the problem would be solved. In the end, I pushed myself into a corner. In this life, I can't make the same mistake again. I opened the browser and searched for nearby police stations. Then, I organized all that evidence into a folder and saved it onto a USB drive. Monday, I went to the company to process the transfer order. The HR manager looked at me with a somewhat complicated expression. Qing Yan. The conditions at the branch office are quite tough. Are you really sure about this? Yes, I nodded. Actually, if you don't want to go, you can talk to the leadership about it. No need. I know. This was Li Man's intention. She wanted me to leave. I was determined to go along with her wish, only by going to the branch office. Can Gao Lang let his guard down? Can we find a better opportunity? While packing up, Meng Yao came over. Su Jia, are you really leaving? Yes. Why is that? It's the company's arrangement. Is Gao Lang behind this? Meng Yao lowered her voice. I glanced at her. Why do you ask that? I saw him arguing with Director Li in the stairwell yesterday. Meng Yao bit her lip. It seemed like your name was mentioned. It seems Meng Yao isn't that clueless after all. Don't worry about it. I patted her shoulder. Just be careful yourself. Su Jia, I'm leaving. I carried my suitcase and walked out of the office. Gao Lang wasn't there. Probably hiding somewhere, secretly enjoying it, walking out of the company's main entrance. The sunlight was just right. I looked up at the sky. Gao Lang, the game has only just begun. The branch office is located in an industrial park. It's very remote. The office building is old. My workstation is in a corner by the window. My colleagues are all very busy. No one is paying attention to me. That's just perfect. I can focus on my own matters with peace of mind. In the afternoon, I went to the local police station. I printed out all the evidence from the USB drive, loan agreement, chat records, transcript of the recording. All were submitted to the police. Officer, I want to report a case. What kind of case? Someone used my identity information to take out loans and is also suspected of fraud. The officer looked at the evidence I submitted, his brows furrowed. How did you obtain this evidence? I hesitated. Found it at his house. You entered someone else's residence without permission. This behavior is illegal, the police officer said sternly. I know I was wrong. I lowered my head, but I had no choice. He was about to use my information to take out a loan. If I didn't stop him, my life would be ruined. The police officer sighed. You can go back for now. We will investigate this matter. So, when can we expect results? It's hard to say. The police officer looked at me. Much of the evidence you provided needs verification. Moreover, that person named Gao Lang hasn't taken any concrete action yet, making it difficult for us to file a case. What should I do then? My heart sank. First, make sure to protect your personal information and avoid sharing it with others easily. If he actually takes out a loan, report it to the police immediately. Okay, walking out of the police station, feeling a bit disappointed, but it was also expected. Without actual losses, it's indeed difficult for the police to file a case, but at least, I have already filed a report. If Gao Lang really dares to use my information to borrow money again, the police will have his criminal record on file. Back in the dormitory, the phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. The location is within the city. I hesitated for a moment, then answered. Hello, Su Qingyan. It was Gao Lang's voice. How did he get my new number? How did you get this number? Wanting to know your number. Isn't that easy? His voice carried a hint of smugness. I heard you went to the branch office. None of your business. How is it none of my business? He laughed. Qingyan, stop fooling around. Come back. I'm not fooling around. Are you still mad at me? I don't want to waste words with you. Don't hang up. Gao Lang's voice grew serious. Qingyan, I know what you're doing. What am I doing? You went to the police, didn't you? My heart skipped a beat. How did he know? Were you following me? Do I need to follow you? Gao Lang sneered. You think the police will help you? That's too naive. Without evidence, they won't do anything at all. I have evidence. Evidence. Gao Lang laughed. Evidence you stole by breaking into my house. Do you think the court will believe that? You, Su Qingyan? I advise you not to fight me. Gao Lang's voice carried a threat. You can't win against me. Just come back quietly, and we can go on like before. Okay, no, I said through gritted teeth. Then don't blame me for being impolite. What are you trying to do? What do you think? Gao Lang's voice carried a hint of madness. Aren't you afraid I'll use your information to take out loans? Well, I'm going to do exactly that. I'll ruin your reputation and make sure you never recover in this lifetime. Gao Lang, you're insane. You forced me into this. The phone was hung up. I held my phone, trembling all over. He was really going to do it. He was going to ruin me. No, I couldn't just sit back and wait. I have to find a way. Stop him. After hanging up Gao Lang's call, my hands and feet turned cold. His threat was like a knife hanging over my head. I know he means what he says. I must act even faster. I turned on my computer and started searching for information about Gao Lang, his education, his family background, his previous work experience. I don't believe he can completely erase his past. Indeed, on an old forum, I found a post about him. It was from 5 years ago. The title read, "Exposing a scammer named Gao Lang who cheated me out of 30,000 yuan. Be careful, everyone." In the post, the process of being deceived was described in detail. It is almost exactly the same as what I am experiencing now. It also started with the pretext of dating, then borrowing money, and finally disappearing. The poster's name is Sunshine is just right. I tried sending her a private message. I wonder if she'll still read it. After doing all this, I thought of Li Man again. She was threatened by Gao Lang, so she must hate him too. Perhaps more evidence can be found from her. I pulled out Li Man's phone number from my phone. It was stored in Gao Lang's phone in my previous life. I hesitated for a moment and dialed the number. It rang for a long time before being answered. "Hello, who is this?" Li Man's voice sounded weary. "Directorly, it's me, Su Qingyan." There was silence on the other end of the line for a few seconds. "What do you want from me?" "I want to talk to you about Gao Lang." "I have nothing to say to you, Directorly," I said sincerely. "Gao Lang cheated you out of your money and threatened you. Are you really okay with that? What else can I do?" Li Man's voice was filled with bitterness. "I've already reported it to the police, but they said there isn't enough evidence." "I've also called the police," I said. "I have some evidence that might help you." "What evidence?" "The contract where he used my identity information to take out a loan, the chat records between him and other girls, and the recording of him threatening you." Li Man's breathing noticeably quickened. "You have a recording?" "Yes." "Where is it?" "I'm currently at the branch office in the neighboring city. If it's convenient for you, we could meet up." Li Man remained silent for a long time. "Okay, how about meeting at the cafe near the branch office tomorrow at 10 a.m. "Sure." After hanging up the phone, I felt a bit more at ease. At least, I'm not fighting alone anymore. The next morning, I arrived at the cafe early. I chose a seat by the window, ordered 2 cups of coffee, 10 o'clock sharp. Li Man arrived. She was dressed in professional attire, with her hair meticulously styled, but the weariness in her eyes was impossible to hide. "Sit," I said. She sat down without a word. I took out the voice recorder and placed it on the table. "This is the recording from that day." Li Man picked up the voice recorder and pressed the play button. Gao Lang's frantic voice came from it. Her face gradually turned pale. The recording ended. She put down the recorder. Her hands were trembling. "That bastard," she said through gritted teeth. Directorly, I looked at her. "Gao Lang didn't just deceive us, he has deceived many others. 5 years ago, someone exposed him online." I showed her that forum post. The more Li Man read, the more her expression darkened. "No wonder he was so skilled. He's a repeat offender. We must unite to ensure he faces punishment," I said. "How do we unite?" "We should gather all the evidence we have and submit it together to the police. With both witnesses and physical evidence, the police will definitely open a case." Li Man nodded. "Good. What evidence do you have?" I asked. "Transfer records," Li Man said. "I transferred 50,000 yuan to him, and there are bank statements. Also, the threatening text messages he sent me. These are all very useful," I said. "By the way, do you know what that big project of his is?" Li Man shook her head. "I don't know. He's always refused to say." "I suspect there's no big project at all," I said. "He just wants to swindle your money." Li Man sighed. "I now also think he was lying to me." "What about your son's tuition?" "I've already borrowed some from relatives." Li Man smiled bitterly. "Fortunately, it's not yet time to pay the tuition." "That's good." We discussed some more details. We agreed to go to the police station together in the afternoon to submit all the evidence. As we were leaving the cafe, Li Man called out to me, "Su Qingyan." "Ha. I'm sorry about what happened before," she said, looking at me with a complicated expression. "It was wrong of me to transfer you to the branch office." I was taken aback for a moment, then shook my head. "It's all in the past. Now is not the time to dwell on these matters. Our only target is Gao Lang." 2 p.m. We arrived at the police station on time. This time, we were received by the same officer as before. Seeing us come in together, he was somewhat surprised. "Do you know each other?" "We are colleagues, both deceived by Gao Lang," Li Man said. She placed the bank statements and text message records on the table. I added the newly found screenshots of forum posts and the private message records with the poster. The police officer flipped through the evidence page by page, his brow furrowing more and more tightly. "This evidence is much more complete than last time," he said. "Officer, can we file a case now?" I asked. "We can start by accepting the report," the officer said, taking out a registration form. "Please write down the details again." It took us an hour to finish writing down the entire incident. When we walked out of the police station, the sunlight was just right. Li Man took a deep breath. "I hope this time, there will be a result." "It will," I said. After seeing Lee Man off, I returned to the branch office. I had just sat down when I received a text message. It was from that netizen named Sunshine Just Right. Hello, I saw your private message. The Gao Lang you mentioned, is he about 8 meters tall with a scar on the web of his right hand? My heart skipped a beat. It's him. In my past life, I saw that scar on his wrist. Yes, I replied. Did he deceive you too? He used my identity information to take out loans and also cheated others out of their money. That bastard. She sent an angry emoji. Back then, he cheated me out of 30,000 yuan, and I was even pregnant with his child, but he vanished without a trace. My breath instantly froze. A child. Does Gao Lang have a child? What happened to you afterward? I asked. I lost the baby, and I almost took my own life. Her reply was filled with deep despair. All these years, I've been searching for him, just to make him pay. We're currently gathering evidence to sue him. Are you willing to testify? I do. Of course I do. She replied immediately. As long as it can put him in prison, I'm willing to do anything. Excellent. We exchanged contact information. Her name is Zhou Tong, living in another city. She said she would come as soon as possible. After hanging up the phone, I looked out the window. A surge of strength welled up inside me. More and more people are stepping forward. Gao Lang, your good days are over. Evening, I received a call from the police. Su Qingyan, that's me. We investigated Gao Lang's bank transactions and found that he recently had many deposits from unknown sources, all of which were transferred to some small loan companies. Is he using someone else's information to borrow money? Very likely, the police officer said. We've already applied for a search warrant and will search his house tomorrow. Is there anything I need to do? For now, don't alert him and wait for our news. Good. After hanging up the phone, I was so excited I nearly jumped. Finally, there was progress. That night, I slept very soundly, no nightmares. Early the next morning, I'm right by my phone, waiting for news from the police. 10 in the morning, the phone rings. It's the police. Su Qingyan. We found a large number of ID card copies and bank card information at Gao Lang's house, along with many forged contracts. Great, we have already taken Gao Lang into custody, the police said. You, Li Man, and the woman named Zhou Tong, please come over as soon as possible to assist us with the statement. All right, we'll be right there. I immediately called Li Man and Zhou Tong. They are all very excited, especially Zhou Tong. She said she is already on her way. In the afternoon, I returned to the original city. I went straight to the police station. Li Man and Zhou Tong were already there. Zhou Tong looked very haggard, but her eyes were filled with anticipation. The three of us sat in the lounge. No one spoke, yet we could all sense each other's feelings, nervous, excited. There was also a faint, almost imperceptible sense of relief. When it was my turn to give a statement, the police asked me many questions, about how Gao Lang had stolen my information, about how I discovered it. Regarding the sources of those pieces of evidence, I answered each one truthfully. Including the matter of me entering his apartment without permission. The police did not blame me any further, just sighed. In the future, when you encounter such things, call the police first, don't act impulsively on your own. I understand. By the time the statement was completed, it was already evening. The police said that Gao Lang confessed to his crimes without any reservation. He not only stole my identity information but also that of many other female students. The amount involved in the case is as high as several 100,000 yuan. What awaits him is the sanction of the law. Leaving the police station, the night was deep. The streetlights came on, stretching our shadows long. Finally, it's over, Li Man said. Yeah, Zhou Tong's voice choked with emotion. I've been waiting for this day for 5 years. I looked at them. My heart was filled with a mix of emotions. The tragedy of the past life did not repeat itself. My parents are safe and sound. I have not been disgraced either. Those girls who were deceived by Gao Lang can finally seek justice. Let's go get something to eat, I said, to celebrate. Okay, we found a barbecue restaurant, ordered a lot of dishes, along with some beer. No one mentioned Gao Lang, just chatting about trivial matters. Zhou Tong said she plans to move to a different city and start a new life. Li Man said she will focus more on her work and her son. I said I want to quit my job and go traveling. Take a good look at this world. After several rounds of drinks, Zhou Tong suddenly burst into tears. I'm sorry, she said. If I had spoken up earlier back then, maybe so many people wouldn't have been deceived. It's not your fault. Li Man patted her back. Gao Lang is just too cunning, right? I said. It's not too late for us to step forward now. At the very least, we've stopped him from harming more people. That's enough. When leaving the barbecue shop, Zhou Tong asked for my contact information. Let's keep in touch, she said. Sure, Li Man also said. If you don't get used to it when you return to the branch, just come back, and I'll arrange another position for you. Thank you, Director Li. Just call me Sister Man. Sister Man. We said goodbye at the intersection, each heading in different directions. I watched their figures disappear into the night. Suddenly, I felt a warmth in my heart. The phone vibrated in my pocket. It was my mom calling. Qingyan, when are you coming back? Your dad made your favorite sweet and sour pork ribs. I'll be right back. Be careful on the road. Okay. Hung up the phone. I looked up at the sky. The stars tonight are very bright, like diamonds scattered on black velvet. Wonderful. Everything is over. Gao Lang received the punishment he deserved. We can all start a new life now. I felt for the phone in my pocket. There, a photo was still saved. It was found that day in Gao Lang's apartment. A photo of him with a strange man. That man, I feel a bit familiar. Seems like I've seen him somewhere. But for a moment, I just can't recall. Perhaps, it's just an insignificant little episode. I smiled. Turning around, I head towards home. My steps are light. As if a heavy burden has been lifted. The road ahead is still long, but I know I will never again live as wretchedly as I did in my past life. I will live well, cherish everything before me, because this is what I got, at the cost of my life. When I got home, the aroma of sweet and sour pork ribs had already filled the entire house. My dad, wearing an apron, poked his head out from the kitchen. Are you back? Yes. My mom walked over and took the bag from my hand. Tired out, aren't you? Sit down and rest for a while. Not tired. I sat on the sofa. Watching their busy figures, my heart felt warm, wonderful, everything was back on track. During the meal, I told them about Gao Lang's arrest. I didn't go into too much detail, I just said he was arrested by the police for fraud. My parents were stunned. How could he do such a thing? My mother frowned. You never truly know a person's heart. My father sighed. Thank goodness you're okay. My mother patted my hand. From now on, you need to be more careful when making friends. I understand, Mom. After finishing the meal, I helped clear the dishes. The phone rang. It was Mengyao. Sujia, have you heard? Gao Lang was arrested by the police. Her voice was filled with surprise. Yes, I know. Oh my God, that's terrifying, Mengyao said. How could he be that kind of person? It's a good thing you told me to stay away from him, otherwise I would have definitely been deceived too. It's good that you're okay, Sister Sue. When are you coming back? Everyone misses you so much. I'm not sure yet. Oh, then you must tell me when you come back. Okay. After hanging up the phone, I gazed out the window. The news of Gao Lang's arrest must have already spread throughout the company. I wonder what kind of waves it will stir up. Sure enough, the next day, I received a call from the company's HR. Su Qingyan, are you free to come to the company now? What's the matter? Regarding your transfer order, we'd like to have a word with you. All right. I knew they wanted me to go back. After all, in the matter of Gao Lang, I was considered the victim, also the whistleblower. Back at the company, in the office building, the atmosphere is a bit subtle. My colleagues look at me with curiosity and inquiry in their eyes. I didn't pay any attention. I walked straight to the HR office. The HR director was a kind middle-aged woman. She smiled when she saw me. Qingyan, have a seat. Thank you. We all know about Gao Lang's situation, she said. You've been wronged. It's fine. Regarding your transfer order, the company has decided to cancel it, she said. You can return to work, with your position unchanged. If you don't want to return to your original department, you can also be transferred to another department. I thought for a moment. The old department holds too many memories related to Gao Lang. Going back would inevitably feel uncomfortable. I want to transfer to the marketing department. Sure. The HR director nodded. Director Zhang from the marketing department is very satisfied with you. Thank you. You're welcome. Walked out of the HR office. I went to my old department to pack up my things. When Mengyao saw me, her eyes lit up. Sujia, you're back. Yes, great. She helped me organize the documents. I knew you'd definitely come back. From now on, I'll be in the marketing department. Huh. Mengyao was taken aback. Why? I want a change of environment. Oh. She felt a bit disappointed but quickly smiled again. It's okay, we can still meet often. Yes. After packing up my things, I headed to the marketing department. Director Zhang is a very capable woman. She introduced me to my new colleagues. Everyone was very warm and welcoming. They didn't ask too much about Gao Lang. That's good. I just want to work quietly, start a new life. In the afternoon, Li Man came to see me. Are you done with work? Yes. Want to grab a cup of coffee together? Okay. We went to the cafe downstairs from the office. Gao Lang's case has been transferred to the procuratorate, Li Man said. His lawyer contacted me, asking me to issue a letter of forgiveness and offering compensation. You agreed? No, Li Man shook her head. I don't care about his money. I just want him to get the punishment he deserves. Me too. What about Zhou Tong? Did she agree? I don't know, I said. I haven't contacted her yet. She has had a tough time these years. Li Man sighed. Perhaps she needs this money. I fell silent. Yes, everyone's circumstances are different. Choices will also differ. We have no right to judge others, right? Li Man looked at me. You mentioned that day, in Gao Lang's apartment, you saw a photo of him with a strange man. Yes. Have you remembered who it is? No. I shook my head. Maybe it's just a friend of his. Hopefully. Li Man's expression was a bit complicated. But it's still better to be careful. People like Gao Lang, the ones he knows probably aren't good people either, I know. After drinking coffee, I returned to the company. Just as I sat down, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. The area code indicated it was from out of town. I hesitated for a moment, then answered. Hello, excuse me, is this Ms. Su Qingyan? A deep male voice asked. Yes, it is. Who are you? I am Gao Lang's lawyer. My heart sank. Something wrong, Ms. Su. I'd like to discuss the case of Gao Lang with you. I have nothing to talk to you about, Ms. Su. Gao Lang has come to realize his mistake. The lawyer's voice was calm. He wants to offer you some compensation and hopes you can provide a letter of forgiveness. Compensation, I laughed. What he owes me can't be repaid with money, Ms. Su. To err is human. Wouldn't it be better to give him a chance to turn over a new leaf? Turn over a new leaf. I recalled everything from my past life. He harmed so many people, why should he get to start over, Ms. Su? If you don't provide a letter of forgiveness, Gao Lang is likely to receive a very heavy sentence. That's exactly what he deserves. Are you really that heartless? The heartless one is him, not me. I hung up the phone, blocked this number, yet, deep down, I felt an inexplicable unease. Why did Gao Lang's lawyer suddenly contact me? Is that so? Does he have any other tricks up his sleeve? I reached into my pocket and felt my phone. That photo is still in there. The face of that strange man is becoming clearer and clearer in my mind. I feel like I've really seen him somewhere before. For the next few days, I kept thinking about that strange man, but I just couldn't remember where I had seen him before. Work was very busy. The pace in the marketing department was much faster than in my previous one. There are endless meetings and unfinished proposals every day. That's just as well. It keeps me from having time to think about those annoying things. Friday night, the company organized a team-building event. Go to a resort in the suburbs. Everyone had a great time. I gradually integrated into the new group. In the evening, everyone gathered around for a barbecue. Director Zhang took a bottle of beer and walked over to me. Qingyan, come, have a drink. Thank you, Director Zhang. Don't call me Director Zhang, call me Sister Zhang. She patted my shoulder. You've been working hard these past few days. It's not hard. I heard about Gao Lang. Sister Zhang looked at me. Don't take it to heart. That kind of person isn't worth it. I know. It's not easy for you to move on from such a terrible situation. Sister Zhang sighed. If you have any difficulties in the future, feel free to talk to me. Thank you, Sister Zhang. You're welcome. We clinked our glasses. The beer was a bit bitter, but in my heart, it felt warm. Halfway through the barbecue, someone suggested going to sing. The resort had a KTV room. Everyone rushed inside. I don't really like environments that are too noisy, so I sat alone on the outdoor terrace, gazing at the stars in the sky. The phone vibrated in the pocket. It was a WeChat message from Zhou Tong. Qingyan, I've already arrived home. Get some good rest. Has Gao Lang's lawyer contacted you? Yes, they have. Have you agreed to issue a letter of understanding? No, me neither. Zhou Tong sent an angry emoji. He thought he could buy me off with money. Not a chance. By the way, I just remembered something, Zhou Tong said. Back then, Gao Lang tricked me out of my money, claiming he wanted to go into business with a friend. A friend? My heart suddenly skipped a beat. What kind of friend? I met him once, Zhou Tong said. He was tall, very thin, and looked quite shrewd. Tall, thin, and sharp. He somewhat resembles the man in the photo. Do you still remember what he looked like? Not very clearly, Zhou Tong said. It's been 5 years. Did he ever mention what that friend's name was? It seems, something like Hui. I searched my mind for that name. Suddenly, a figure jumped out. It was the vice president of our company, Lin Hui. He is tall, thin, and looks very shrewd. Moreover, I once saw him and Gao Lang meeting up downstairs at the company. At the time, I thought they were just ordinary colleagues. Thinking back now, their relationship might not be as simple as it seemed. The group photo saved in Gao Lang's phone, the man in the picture, the contours of his eyes and brows, almost perfectly matched Lin Hui's. My heart suddenly tightened. Could it be? Is the person behind Gao Lang Lin Hui? This thought sends a chill down my spine. Lin Hui holds a very high position in the company. He keeps a low profile, so few people know his background. If he has a connection with Gao Lang, then, has he also been involved in the things Gao Lang has done? Qingyan, what's wrong? Zhou Tong sent a message. Nothing, I replied. I just suddenly remembered that I might have seen that person named Hui. Really? Yeah, but I'm not sure yet. If it's true, then they're in it together. Zhou Tong sent a shocked emoji. That's terrifying. I'll get to the bottom of this, be careful, Zhou Tong said. People like that are definitely not to be messed with, I know. After hanging up WeChat, I gazed at the distant lights. My mind was in a jumble. If Lin Hui really had a connection with Gao Lang, what was his purpose? Just for the money, or a bigger conspiracy? I dare not think, but I know, this matter absolutely cannot be left like this. The next day, after the team-building event, we returned to the company. I went to the Human Resources Department. I made an excuse about needing to understand the background of the company's management and wanted to see Lin Hui's information. HR hesitated a bit. Vice President Lin's information is confidential. I just wanted to learn about his work experience to write a market analysis report. I made an excuse. The HR thought for a moment and still showed it to me. The information was quite simple. Lin Hui, 35 years old. Graduated from a prestigious university, joined the company 5 years ago, rapidly promoted to vice president, impressive resume, no issues can be seen, but the more it is like this, the more suspicious I feel. Why would someone with a background so clean, almost perfect, be involved with a fraudster like Gao Lang? Afternoon, I went to the pantry to get some water. I happened to run into Lin Hui. He was wearing a suit and holding some documents. When he saw me, he gave a slight nod. Su Qingyan. Vice President Lin, I've heard you've been doing quite well in the marketing department lately. His voice was very gentle. Thank you for the praise, Vice President Lin. Keep up the good work. He smiled and turned to leave. I watched his retreating figure. The doubts in my heart grew larger and larger. His smile seemed very kind, but I sensed a subtle chill from it. Back at my workstation, I turn on the computer. Start searching for Lin Hui's name, hoping to find some clues related to him and Gao Lang. However, the search results are all reports about his various business activities. No useful information was found. It seems he hid it very well. At night, I went to the apartment where Gao Lang lived before he was arrested. The door was still ajar. The police had already searched the place. It was a mess inside. I walked in, searching carefully, hoping to find some traces left by Lin Hui. In the drawer of the bedside table, I found a notebook. It is Gao Lang's. It records some miscellaneous accounts. There are also some names and phone numbers. One of the names, it clearly read Lin Hui, followed by a phone number. It was exactly the same as Lin Hui's private number in the company directory. My hands began to tremble. Evidence. This is the evidence. They do know each other, moreover, deeply connected. The last page of the notebook, a simple flowchart is drawn. It reads fund flow. The starting point is borrowing. In between, there were a few vague names. The endpoint was the name of a company, Xingshi Investment. I was stunned. Prosperous Investment. I know this company. It is our company's biggest competitor. Recently, it has been competing with us for a major project, and the one in charge of that project was none other than Lin Hui. Could it be Lin Hui used Gao Lang to steal others' identities to take out loans and raise funds? Is it to compete with our company? This thought sends chills down my spine. If that's really the case, Lin Hui's scheming is truly profound. He not only took advantage of Gao Lang, but also exploited so many innocent girls, including me. I carefully put away my notebook, placed it in my bag, walked out of the apartment. The night grew darker. I looked toward the direction of the company. The lights are ablaze, like a massive monster, concealing countless secrets. Lin Hui, what exactly do you want to do? Holding that notebook, I didn't sleep all night. I kept looking at the contents over and over. The cash flow diagram was drawn very sloppily, but the 4 characters Xingshi Investment were exceptionally clear. What exactly is the relationship between Lin Hui and Xingshi Investment? Is he using the money raised by Gao Lang to funnel it to Xingshi Investment, or is it that? Is he himself a pawn planted by Xingshi Investment in our company? The more I think about it, the more terrifying it seems. Early the next morning, I made a copy of the notebook. I've hidden the original document. I plan to give the copy to Sister Zhang. She is the director of the marketing department. She has a good understanding of the company's situation. Moreover, she looks like a trustworthy person. Morning. I knocked on Sister Zhang's office door. Sister Zhang, there's something I want to talk to you about. Sit. Sister Zhang put down the file in her hand. What's the matter? I placed the photocopy in front of her. This is what I found in Gao Lang apartment. Sister Zhang picked up the photocopy and examined it carefully. His brows furrowed slightly. Lin Hui, Xingshi Investment. Her voice carried a hint of surprise. Yes, I nodded. I suspect that Lin Hui used Gao Lang to steal personal information for loans and raise funds in order to funnel benefits to Xingshi Investment and undermine our company. Sister Zhang remained silent for a long time. The office was completely silent. Only the sound of the air conditioner hummed in the background. Do you have any evidence? She asked. This notebook is the evidence, I said. It has Lin Hui's phone number and a chart of the fund flow. That's not enough. Sister Zhang shook her head. Lin Hui holds a high position in the company. Without solid evidence, it's hard to bring him down. Moreover, if this matter blows up, it will damage the company's reputation. Then we just stand by and watch him harm the company's interests. That's not what I mean, Sister Zhang said, looking at me. This matter is no small issue. We need to be more cautious. What should we do then? Don't make a fuss about it for now, Sister Zhang said. I'll investigate discreetly. There's a large project that Lin Hui is in charge of, and recently, a sum of funds has gone unaccounted for. I suspect it's related to this matter. Okay, I'll keep this copy for now. I walked out of Sister Zhang's office. In my heart, I felt a bit more at ease. At least, I was no longer fighting alone. In the following days, in the company, it appears calm on the surface, but I can sense it. An undercurrent is quietly stirring. Sister Zhang has become very busy, often not in the office. Reportedly, they are following up on that major project. Lin Hui has also become particularly low-key, rarely seen at the company, occasionally encountered. His gaze held a hint of scrutiny. It made me very uncomfortable. I know, he might have already noticed something. I must be even more careful. Friday afternoon, Meng Yao suddenly came to find me. His face was very pale. Sujia, I think I've messed up. What happened? I just went to the break room and overheard Vice President Lin on the phone with someone. Meng Yao whispered. He said that money must be transferred as soon as possible, or it'll be too late. He also mentioned Xingshi investment. My heart skipped a beat. He's here. What else did he say? He also said Gao Lang's side has been taken care of, and there won't be any trouble. Has Gao Lang been taken care of over there? What does that mean? Could it be? Does he intend to do something to Gao Lang? Meng Yao, you must not tell anyone about this matter, I said, including your family and friends. I know. Meng Yao nodded, her eyes filled with fear. Sister Su, I'm so scared. Don't be afraid. I patted her shoulder. I'm here. After comforting Meng Yao, I immediately went to find Sister Zhang. Her office door was closed. I knocked on the door. There was no response. I took out my phone and called her. No one answered. A bad premonition suddenly rose in my heart. Could something have happened to her? I rushed out of the marketing department, looking for Sister Zhang everywhere. Finally, found her in the stairwell. She was curled up in the corner, pale-faced. There was a wound on the forehead, bleeding. Sister Zhang. I rushed over and helped her up. What happened to you? I was beaten up. Sister Zhang's voice was very weak. Someone snatched my documents. Who? I don't know. Sister Zhang shook her head. It was two masked men. They took the evidence I had gathered on Lin Hui. My heart sank to the bottom. Lin Hui. It must be him. He's desperate. Hurry. I'll take you to the hospital. No need. Sister Zhang grabbed me. I'm fine. What matters is that the evidence is gone. There's still the original copy in my hands, I said. Sister Zhang's eyes lit up. Yes, let's go report it to the police right now. No. Sister Zhang shook her head. Without evidence, reporting it won't help. Plus, it might alert them. What should we do then? Lin Hui is after that big project, Sister Zhang said. He snatched my documents just to stop me from investigating where his funds are going. We must find new evidence before he succeeds. How do we find it? The partner for that big project is a foreign company, Sister Zhang said. Their legal department is very strict. If Lin Hui uses illegal funds to collaborate with them, they definitely won't tolerate it. You mean? We can anonymously report Lin Hui's matter to their legal department, Sister Zhang said. Let them investigate. Will that work? We can only try. Sister Zhang and I found a secluded spot, scanned the original notebook into an electronic version, also organized some of the clues we collected regarding Lin Hui's fund flow, sent them all anonymously to the legal department of that foreign company. After completing all of this, we all breathed a sigh of relief. The rest is up to fate. Monday morning. The company was in an uproar. That foreign company suddenly announced the termination of cooperation with our company. The reason given was suspicion of issues with our company's funding sources. The news broke. The stock price plummeted. The chairman was furious. An investigation team was immediately formed. The focus of the investigation is the major project that Lin Hui is responsible for. Lin Hui has been suspended from his duties. He is under investigation. The office is buzzing with discussions. Everyone is guessing what exactly happened. I look out the window. The sunlight is blinding. In my heart, I am actually quite calm. What was bound to come has finally arrived. In the afternoon, the police have arrived. They took Lin Hui away. It is said that the legal department of that foreign company reported it to the police. Their investigation revealed that the funds Lin Hui used for cooperation indeed came from illegal loans. Moreover, it also implicated Xingshire Investment. Originally, Lin Hui was not only a pawn planted by Xingshire Investment in our company, he is also one of the actual controllers of Prosperous Era Investment. He used Gao Lang to steal others' information to borrow money and raise funds. On one hand, it was to attack our company. On the other hand, it was to fill the financial gap of Xingshire Investment. Truly, killing two birds with one stone. Gao Lang's case has thus seen new developments, he confessed. Back then, it was Lin Hui who instigated him to take out loans using other people's information. He was merely a pawn in Lin Hui's hands. Awaiting them will be the severe punishment of the law. The matter has finally been settled. The company's reputation, though affected, but cut losses in time under the leadership of the new leadership team, gradually regained vitality. Sister Zhang, because she made a contribution in this matter, promoted to the company's vice president, she came to talk to me. Qingyan, thank you, I just did what I had to do. You're very brave. Sister Zhang looked at me, and very smart. Would you be interested in working on a project with me? I know you've been through a lot, Sister Zhang said, but I believe you have the ability to do even better. I thought for a moment, in my past life, I was cowardly and timid, deceived and used by others. In this life, I have experienced life and death. I have seen through people's hearts. And I have learned to face things bravely. Perhaps I really can try to do something different. Okay, I nodded. A smile curls at the corner of my mouth. Sunlight streams through the window, shining on my face, warm and bright. I know, the shadows of the past have completely dissipated. The road ahead is still long, but I am no longer afraid, because I know, I am no longer the Su Qingyan of my past life, who is at the mercy of others. I am Su Qingyan, a brand new Su Qingyan, living for myself. After hearing the two stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.